Hello, everybody. My name is Dratnos. I've got a very quick update today, and then a little bit of speculation. But the main news is that it appears that Necrotic and Inspiring will not be joining us in Dragonflight. The current build of beta has added in all of the affixes for M+. It doesn't look like they're actually testable just yet, but first of all, that means we might see beta M+, as early as like next beta build, next week. But in the list, along with a placeholder for the Season 1 of affix of 10.0, we see no Necrotic or Inspiring, notably Tyrannical and Fortified were also already in. So everything except for Necrotic and Inspiring is coming forward. There's not any space for any new affix, although, of course, they could still put one of those in later. Could this be just some... Could this mean that they're not necessarily removing these affixes? Maybe, but I actually think it's pretty likely that these are the ones being removed, because if I was removing two affixes, it would be these two for sure. Some people would argue for bolstering. Melee players would maybe argue for stuff like Sanguine, Spiteful, Storming in particular. But in my opinion, Necrotic and Inspiring are the two affixes that I would say take over dungeons the most. Inspiring is one where it's hard for Inspiring to matter in a pull without it just murdering you if you do it wrong in that pull, and I feel like that's a little bit too binary, right? Like the lower Karazhan, you have Inspiring coming in on the Firelands portal pulls. All right, it's over if you weren't like there's just not much you can do if you don't have that thing CC'd off to the side beforehand, right? Or you don't have a knockback for it, really quick reaction. Necrotic as well. It's kind of not bad this season with a Blood Death Knight with 70% parry, but still, it is an affix that I think punishes especially the tanking role in a way that some tanks enjoy it, but it causes most tanks that I know to despawn for the week, and so getting rid of that affix and making the tank shortage a little bit less bad, I think is a really good thing. I think Raging is a much better kite incentivizing affix than Necrotic, because it's a lot less... It has a lot less spots where you feel like you checkmated. Although Necrotic on 5 seconds was a lot better than it was on 9 seconds, that's for sure, on the buff. So those affixes being gone, what will that mean for the affix rotation? Because if they don't add any new affixes, which of course, again, it's still a possibility they could come up with a new affix. They did the last couple expansions, right? They've come in with new affixes like Inspiring, Storming. But if they don't do that here, then they're going to have to, assuming they still want to have 12 different weeks, we may see them start to do more of the doubling up, right? There is 2 weeks right now of Spiteful Necrotic, one on Tyrannical and one on Fortified. Maybe we'll see them start to do this with more level 2 and level 3 combos, because there are some level 2, level 3 affixes that they don't like putting next to each other. And there are also some affixes that they don't like putting with certain baseline affixes. For instance, Raging Fortified used to be something they didn't do, although they are doing it now. Grievous Tyrannical is something you won't see. You only see Grievous going with Fortified usually. So with those restrictions, I think there's a good chance we will see a few more weeks that are just the same two affixes with Tyrannical or Fortified changing. Although maybe not. We'll have to see what they want to do there, or if they decide they just want to make some new affixes instead, although, just make some new affixes is obviously a lot easier said than done. They've spent a lot of time this expansion nerfing affixes, including Necrotic, Bolstering, Storming, Bursting, right, over and over again until they're, like, less lethal. Even Raging got nerfed a lot, and now it's not too bad to be next to Fortified, but old Raging Fortified weeks, back when Raging was, like, twice as hard as it currently is, twice as much of a buff, those weeks would just have your tank disappear on Raging hit. And similarly, Bolstering, right? Bolstering, I would say old Bolstering, before they gave it a duration, was as bad as Necrotic and Inspiring. But I think Bolstering I actually do think it's fine in its current state. But, when they introduce new affixes like Storming and Spiteful, I would say Spiteful still needs some work. They need to make that stop one-shotting you as the key. Like, this thing needs to stop scaling with key level above, 15, because it literally just, one-shots you if it catches you, and that's... I don't think that's particularly great fun on that one. But Storming, right, they did a lot of work with Storming between 9.0 and 9.1, so maybe we'll see some new affixes. Maybe they'll need the iteration on that as well. The time is kind of running out for that to be created, though. I think more likely than not we won't see any new affixes. The one thing we will, of course, see is a Season 1 seasonal affix, we have no information yet about what that's going to look like. This is just pure speculation. I think Season 1 is probably going to have an elemental theme. Right now we have elemental storms, or like a feature that the primalists, which I think are the enemies in the first raid, are doing in Dragonflight, and elemental storms will be a feature that will be available when Season 1 starts. They won't even be active when the expansion launches. And so I suspect that the seasonal affix will be similar, will be some kind of elemental theme, especially because the first raid, they usually make the first affix themed around the first raid, right? And the first raid has a bunch of elemental themed effects, and the last boss is like an elemental dragon thing, Raz-Zaget the Storm Eater. So my guess is we'll either see an affix that's themed around like 4 elements, or maybe just lightning in some way. But we'll have to see that. Hopefully we'll get to see that soon. That might be something that you'll see a video out about on this channel in the near future whenever they put M+ on the beta. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Just a little update on what Dragonflight M+ is looking like. Great news about the removal of Necrotic and Inspiring IMO, but let me know what you think down in the comments below. I may even remember to go through and read them. No promises. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.